Alright, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to repair a punctured tractor tire. Now, this works for both tractor tires and car tires. So, hey, I've got a big old hole in this front tire here. So let's get into it. Let's see how to actually get this fixed. Alright guys, so you can see here, I got a big old hole in the tire here. I put some air in it to show you that there's actually a hole in the tire. But man, you can hear it coming out. Alright. So I'm actually going to fix this tire on the tractor with a pretty simple thing that you can pick up almost anywhere. I'll include a link either in the top of the screen or in the description below. But it's basically a tire repair kit. Let's see, it looks pretty much like this. It's called a tire plug kit. This one's made by Slime. There are multiple makers, but they work pretty well, especially on industrial equipment and farm tractors, stuff like that. Let's get into it. Let's see how to actually use this. All right, guys, so tire repair kits come with two main things. They come with this freaking punch dagger looking thing and then some of these weird tar strip things. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your dagger stabber McThingy and you're going to go to the hole in your tire and you're actually going to ironically make the hole bigger. So there's the hole right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the hole. I'm actually going to stick this all the way in. So you can see there's a rough edge here. That's specifically to roughen up the edges of the hole and make the tar be able to grab on and stick better. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to shove it in there, and I'm just going to work it up and down in the tire. So I'm going to kind of saw it back and forth, and then I'm going to pull it out. So that's the first step to doing this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your tar strips, and you're going to remove one of the tar strips. And this stuff is pretty nasty. You can see it's pretty gooey, pretty nasty, but that's exactly how it's supposed to be. So going to pull the stuff apart, and I'm going to get one of these nasty-looking licorice things off of the paper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to feed this through the groove on the dagger stabber McThingy. Yes, official terms only being used here. All right, so let's work that in there. So what I usually do is I end up having to grab a pair of pliers and actually pull this through because it's a pretty tight fit, but that's how it's supposed to be. So grab it, and let's see if I can get this through there. Alright, so what you want to do is get the tar, the licorice-looking thing, about halfway across in the, I'm just going to call it the stabber. So, halfway across in there. So, when it goes in, you want it to fully seat in the hole. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the hole in the tire, and actually going to stick this into the hole. And then what this does is this essentially, the tar is so sticky it forms a seal with the tire, and it seals your tire. So, I'm going to stick it in there. And I'm gonna, it takes some, look, I'm putting almost my whole body weight behind it because it's supposed to be a very tight fit. You're supposed to really just have to wedge it in there. And you want to stick it a good ways down. You don't want to just barely get it in there. So once it starts to go in, you want it to go in far enough so that there's not a whole lot of it sticking up above the tire. So you can see here, I've got about an inch left above the tire. You also don't want to go too far because then you're just going to punch the rubber or the tar strip all the way into the tire and it won't do any good. So now what you got is you got about an inch above. That's about good for me. So now what you got to do is you got to get the this tool out without pulling the tar strip out. Now this is where it can be a little bit tricky. So what I recommend is kind of working it back and forth a little bit and then pushing the tar strip down with your thumb because that kind of holds it in place, and then slowly working the tool out because the tool has grooves in it so that it will allow the tar strip to remain. And then if you do it right, you can, and I'm almost got it out. If you do it right, you can pull it out pretty simply, pretty easily without actually pulling the tar strip out. Now you can see it pulled the tar strip out a little bit, but that's why you put it nice and deep in there so that it can pull the tar strip out a little bit without actually pulling the whole thing out. All right, so now I've got this in there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some air to the tire. So let's do that. All right, guys, so I've aired up the tire here, got the appropriate amount of PSI in the tire. So the last couple steps, first of all, you're gonna wanna take some soapy water just to make sure that this isn't leaking. So it could have a slow leak that you can't actually see. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna spray a little bit of soapy water around it. And then you're gonna look. So if it's got a leak, what's gonna happen is the water around the edges is gonna start bubbling up just a little bit. And you wanna put the soap in because that makes the bubbles actually stick so you can see them. But as you can see, I'm spraying it here. There's no bubbles other than the bubbles that come with the soap. So this leak is good to go. I'm ready to use the tractor for tomorrow and whenever. So the final step is just to take a razor blade and cut the excess of the tar strip off so it's not sticking up. Now, you don't want to cut it off right next to the tire. What you're going to want to do is cut it off maybe half an inch above the tire, and that's going to leave you enough so that it doesn't kind of like work itself in and then, you know, basically work itself out of the hole by falling into the tire. So you're going to leave about a half inch. So what I'm just going to do, take my razor blade, cut that off. This stuff's pretty nasty. I wouldn't recommend trying to cut it with your pocket knife because it'll get gunk all over the blade. But I'm just going to saw that off. And we're good to go. All right, guys. Well, my tractor is ready to rock and roll again. So, hey, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned.